everyone. My name is Ryan Cam. Welcome back to the 1996 project. Back with another solo entry. However, I'm doing this one solo because I'm going to be covering, quite literally, the biggest movie of 1996. It just crossed its 30-year anniversary, and I'm so looking forward to talking about it. It's The Rock.
I did it for The Rock.
No, not that Rock. This Rock.
Get ready to rock.
The Rock was directed by Michael Bay. We all know who he is. And it starred Nicolas Cage, the late great Sean Connery, Ed Harris, and more. It tells the story of a group of rogue Marines who seize control of Alcatraz prison, otherwise known as The Rock, and won't let it go until they get some due respect and other demands. And it is up to a chemist to try and stop them. Oh, and a possible James Bond? Up until this point, Michael Bay had only been known as a commercial and music video director. Oh, and directing Bad Boys. This was before Transformers, before any of his big mainstream success. This is his big coming out party right here. And watching this 30 years later, it's clear to see why he got to the position that he is in, with all the success, the peaks and the valleys that came with it. Because, in my opinion, this is his best movie. There are there are movies that are just as entertaining. I would argue there are a few movies that are on this level of quality. However, he never really got to this level again. Just in terms of the story, in terms of the action, in terms of just everything. Late 90s Michael Bay, I will argue, is prime Michael Bay. It really comes down to just everything, just firing on all cylinders. Performances are all strong. You got a young Nicolas Cage who's just doing a great job. You got the late great Sean Connery just doing his thing. This is like these two working off together are just so great with each other. It could have been just the two of them, and it would have been a great movie regardless. I love how, and I'll talk more about this when I get to General Francis X. Hummel, but I love how there's secretly some depth to this movie, like, say, between the two of them being Nick Cage and Sean Connery. You got Nicolas Cage, who is a chemist, and he's good at his job, but he's never really had any field experience. So he's walking into a foreign environment, if you will. You also have Sean Connery, who plays this secret agent who turned into a thief, but he also has a daughter and someone who is he genuinely wants to know her and try and be in her life, but he is pretty much in jail for the rest of his life. So he just can't do that. So it could have been so easily just been painted with a broad brush. But Michael Bay doesn't do that here. There's weird amounts of nuance throughout this whole thing. And I don't think that gets touched upon nearly enough. And speaking of nuance, let's just talk about Ed Harris. I think, in terms of acting, he's the best part. Because the movie does a great job of showing that he does do some very bad things. His actions are reprehensible. However, peel back the layers, you realize that he feels quite disrespected. And this is his way of trying to say, I have taken your abuse for the last time. Again, he could have been a very stereotypical mustache twirler. He could have just been some army dude, but no, he's not that. There's layers to that, which is not something you would normally expect from Michael Bay, but you see it here. And I think that really goes double for just this whole movie in general. You'd think it's straightforward, but there's more to it than that. Action set pieces are great. The score is awesome, especially the ending. The ending is worth the price of admission alone. And like I said, strong performances from the mains, but then you got just a deep bench in the background. You got David Morse, You got William Forsythe, Michael Biehn. You got John C. McGinley. You got Tony Todd, Candyman himself, who drops he has a great exchange with Nick Cage in this. He's like, I don't listen to soft ass shit when talking about Elton John, of all artists. Like, what are we doing here? But he's great. And just, there's so much to love about this. It's not just, you don't watch this movie and you go like, oh, this is a Michael Bay movie. You say, this is a Michael Bay movie. Like, when he actually cared about making quality. Like, I don't think there's any real product placements in here, unless you count Hummer and Ferrari. But even that is minimal at best. This is a part of Michael Bay that is sadly lacking, and this is getting an amazing grade. Like I said, I think there are movies in his filmography that are they're near this level, but not on this level. I feel like this is his best movie by a lot. And like I said, I'll throw Armageddon up there as one that's near this level. However, I don't think he gets this good again. This movie's in the Criterion Collection. Like, it's that good. But what did you all think of The Rock if you have seen it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. My name is Ryan Cam. See you in the next one.